gonna talk about four topics. So let's move on. So for topic one, the macroeconomics performance of a country's economy is measured using three main factors, which are gross domestic product, inflation, and unemployment. GDP refers to the monetary measure of the total market value of all final goods and services produced within a country borders in a specific period. A rising in GDP indicated that there is an expansion in a country's economy, while a decline shows a contraction. On the other hand, inflation refers to a general and progressive increase in the price and goods and in a economy. High inflation signal increasing price level, potentially eroding purchasing power, while low inflation indicated a weakening economics and reduced consumers spending. Unemployment refers to a situation where the individual are actively seeking employment but they are unable to find work. High unemployment signifies economic distress and weak economies, while low unemployment suggests a strong economy and financial security for many in city. As shown in the changing in the GDP, it is reflected the overall health and performance of an economic, indicating period of the business growth, stagnation, or recession. The change in the unemployment is reflecting the overall health and performance of the economy. And the change in the inflation is crucial for understanding the business circles in a country because it is reflected the overall purchasing power of money, the level of economic activity, and the potential for economic instability or growth. Finally, understanding this measure is crucial for organization as they provide insight into the general economic climate, allowing the business to make the informed decision regarding investment, pricing strategies, and workforce planning in the response to change in the business circle. After President Trump was elected in the US, he pushed for the imposition of new tax on exports from the Singapore to the US. As the exportation tax from the Singapore to the US has been increasing, it has raising the cost of those goods, reducing the demands in the US market. The impacts of this new tax on the exports from the Singapore can be better explained using the supply and demand graph shown in the figure 1. In this figure 1, it is showed that after the imposition of new tax on the exports from the Singapore, the equilibrium of supply and demand shifted downwards. This is because the demands for the products lower as the price increasing because companies are charging customers more to ensure their products remains profitabilities. Yes. From the perspective, imposition of tariffs reduce the quantity of goods demands in the US market. This is because of the fact that increasing export tax will force the organization to charge customers more so that it can remain profitability. As a result, there is expect to be a decline in the revenue that the company gain from the exports, which will possibly lead to a reduced production and layoffs. For topic 3, behavioral economics examining how psychological facts influence economic decision, often leading individuals to make choices that deviate from the purely rational models. It can be used to understand why people choosing unhealthy food options, even if a change would be preferred to promote long-term health benefits. Also, behavioral economics climb another reason why individuals make the choice that devour from the purely rational models is status for bias, while where they prefer the familiarity, familiarity of their current situation. This can help to understand why people choose unhealthy food option because they prefer the familiarity of their current eating habits, making them resistant to change even when they recognize healthy alternatives. The assumptions using the behavioral economics climbing is that the psychological facts often lead the individual to make the choice that deviate from the purely rational models. These assumptions differ from the traditional economics assumptions, which claim that the individual are rational effects who make the decision to maximize utility based on the stable preference and complete information. The topic four, the AI is advancing at a rapid pace and changing how people work. For example, the emergence of generative AI has automated work that people used to be manually. To some people, this situation is increasing inequality in the labor market, but to some others, it reduces the inequality. Those who think the generative AI is increasing equality in the labor markets, they assume that it has created more job opportunities for individuals only with a high technological skill to conduct various tasks using the generative AI. They also automatically assume that the need for manual labor will be reducing the organizations as shown in the figure 2, where the labor equilibrium lowers from the E1 to E2 as the demands for manual labor reduce. This creates inequalities in income distribution, job opportunities, and the economy's mobility, as low-skilled workers facing unemployment or lower wage, while the high-skilled individuals benefit from the increasing demands and higher salary. On the other hand, those who claim that the generative AI is reducing quality in the labor markets assume it as not a replacement for manual labors, but to be a tool that enhance workers' productivities. This ensures that the demands for manual skilled labor roles in the markets remains high, and also there is a rising in the demands for highly skilled technical labor in the markets as shown in the figure 3. Figure 3 shows that the job equivalent rising from the E1 to E2 as a demands for technical labor role increasing. For me, I speculate that in the next 5 years, the labor market is likely to be seeing a continued shift toward a hybrid workforce. But manual and technical labor roles will coexist with AI to be better rather than fully replacing the human roles. This is because the business are increasingly recognize the value of the combining human creativity, problem solving, and adaptability with AI-driven efficiency. So that's all. So finally, I'm gonna show my reference.